Hello, Facebook Live. I'm giving it a couple of seconds to see if we can get some people on here so that I'm not necessarily talking to myself. Oh, goodness. I was running. All right, we're 25 seconds in. Well, 30 seconds in. Okay, so regardless, you just have to watch the replay. As you see, the title is Desperate Times Calls for Desperate Measures. What is this title all about? Okay, well, there's so many things going on around right now with just people around me, that there's a lot of spiritual warfare. There's also a lot of dissension and different things, and this particular vlog is not personal, but it is on my heart. And basically, I titled it Desperate Times Calls for Desperate Measures, simply because when you're in a push for your life and your future and your purpose, and things around you start getting shaky and flaky and all these different things, you have to determine at that point and decide what you're going to do. There are three specific words that came up in my heart when I thought about this topic. And I'm sitting in the car, but I'm gonna open this door, so you may hear some of the traffic, but it's kind of warm. There were three specific words that came up in my heart, and the first word was focus. Because when you are in a push and you're really just determined to get to where you need to get to concerning your purpose and your destiny, then that's one quality that you are going to have. You are going to have to focus. That is one thing that you're going to have to do, is focus. That means, and the definition, let's talk about the definition of focus, is a state or a quality of producing clear visual definition, to see clearly or to pay attention to. Basically, when you're focused, nothing else matters around you. You can be on your way to your target, and there is a car accident over here, or say that you're driving. Yes, say that you're driving, and you're on your way to work. Okay, you are up for promotion and you have perfect attendance, and you don't really need to be late. You understand what I'm saying? You don't need to be late. So what you need to do is, your focus and your attention is, direct on where you're headed to. But there's an accident. Now, there's a lot of people out of the car, on the side of the road and looking, and it's not just your typical accident where the traffic, slows down and you just keep on moving. You actually are drawn to get out of your vehicle because you see so many cars pulled over and people standing around. Maybe someone's trapped in a car or something's going on. Some people would say would be selfish for you to, stop. Well, if it's a million other people stop and you have a specific goal in mind, you need to keep pushing. And I know that's a harsh reality, but you need to keep pushing, going forward, and get to your destination, because all the things that are happening around you is a distraction. Hopefully it's not someone that you know, but the goal and the purpose is to stay focused. Okay, that might have been a bad example, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Second word that came up in my heart was faith. Now, when you are in a desperate situation, you are, listen, like, I got to have this specific thing. This thing has to happen for me. Then you have to have faith. The biblical definition of faith, of course, is, now faith is substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. We know that. But the natural definition of faith is complete trust in someone or something. Now, you have to have in your heart, even if some people aren't saved, okay? Some people don't even believe in God. Some people aren't Christians. I personally believe in God. I am a Christian, and I'm not ashamed to let the world know that. But some people aren't, okay? And I'm not judging those people. But the one thing that they need to that you need to know, even with faith, you have complete trust in someone or something. That is the definition of faith in the natural sense. Meaning, even if you don't trust nobody else, you know, they say don't trust nobody. Don't trust nobody, no, okay? Even if you don't trust anybody else, trust yourself enough. You understand what I'm saying? Believe in yourself enough and trust yourself enough not to become distracted and not to be drawn into the things that may happen around that is not particularly in line with where you're going and where you're on your way to. Now, this is the last word that came up in my heart when I was talking about desperate times calls for desperate measures. Because when you are focused and your mind is set on your goal, everything and everybody will pop up out of nowhere with foolishness and craziness. And at that point, you have to do the first two things, right? Which is focus on your original target and have faith and believe that you're going to get to your destined end and you're going to finish your race and finish your race strong. But the last word that popped up in my heart was fiction. And the reason I'm talking about fiction is a lot of times some of the things that come to distract us are so they're so retarded. I'm like, seriously, they are asinine, just unheard of lies, anything. If you say that you are working on building your reputation and you're working on being a public figure and you're doing things in the community and you're going places and you're being active. Again, I'm not talking about me now, so don't get it twisted. People think that just because you're expressing stuff that you are going through something, and sometimes you just need to help somebody else. If maybe you've already gone through it, or maybe you might go through it in the future and you're gonna have to go back and watch your own video and encourage yourself. But I digress. The third word that came up in my heart was fiction. We talked about focus, we talked about faith, and the third word that came up in my heart was fiction. Let me tell you and read the definition what fiction is. Invention or fabrication as opposed to fact. Lies, okay? A belief or statement that is false, but that is often held to be true because of its expedient to do so. Because it is expedient to do so. Okay, expedient is, I'll explain to you what expedient is if you don't know. Expedient is, convenient and practical, although possibly improper or immoral. Okay, so it may be that the fiction or the lie or whatever, wherever you are and this thing comes up, okay, because we know that every time that we're focused and we're on our way to someplace, the enemy will send diversions. He will send all kind of foolishness out of nowhere, just simply to distract you from your destination and to distract you from where you're going. Now, I don't know how many of y'all are on here that's gonna talk back to me right now, but how many of you have experienced that? As soon as you're about at the peak of your achievements, or you're on your way to your final destination, this stuff comes out of nowhere. If you're on your job and you're up for promotion, you have this woman or this man that is just aggravating the heck out of you. They're doing stuff intentionally to sabotage you. They're doing all these things to you, and they end up influencing your boss to look at you in the wrong way, out of sabotage. A million people go through that. I've seen several movies, so if somebody wrote a movie about it, somebody went through it. Somebody wrote a book about it, somebody went through it. it's common to have that type of that level of attack once you're on your destined on your way to your destined end. And the thing about it is, let me read fiction again, okay? I'm looking at the people joining. Okay. Invention or fabrication as opposed to fact. Okay. The fact may be one thing, but someone will invent something or fabricate something, just go out of their way just to make you look a hot mess. That's sad. That's terrible that people will do things. They will allow the enemy to use them to that degree. A belief or statement that is false, but often held to be true because it is expedient to do so. Expedient, again, is convenient or practical, although possibly improper or immoral. Which means people will do stuff from an immoral standpoint to sabotage you. That's terrible. But if you can remember to stay focused and have faith that you're going to complete what you started, then you don't have to worry about the fabrication. God is going to handle all of that. If you know that you've done what you're supposed to do as an individual, as a person, then you allow God to clean up the rest. Because honestly, you cannot track down every doggone lie that's been told on you. You cannot track down every false accusation. Shoot, Jesus was minding his business, doing his thing, and all these false witnesses, they couldn't even convict Jesus of a crime. They had to get false witnesses in order to do that. So somebody had to fabricate some stuff. Hey, we're coming up on Easter. Everybody been in tune with church. And if you don't go to church, I know you're going to go Sunday because it's Easter. The CMEs, those kind of Christians, Christmas, Easter, and Mother's Day, church folks. So, you know the story. You know how Jesus was sabotaged. You know what happened. You know how people just conjured up stuff. This man did nothing but good works. All he did was help people. He was here just to help people. He wasn't selfish. He could have easily taken the gifting that God had given him to heal blind eyes and open deaf ears and all those things. He could have taken that stuff and used it for his own selfish gain. He didn't have to look out for us. He didn't have to go through all that pain and go to the cross. He didn't have to do it. But he did it. He did it anyway because you know why? He didn't lose his focus. And he didn't lose his faith. He knew, even on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them. Forgive them. Even at that point. There was times where his faith got a little shaky. He thought God had forsaken him. But he also understands that even in a time where you feel like, where is God at? My God, where is he at? I'm going through all this stuff. He see these people over here mistreating me, abusing me, doing me wrong. And still he ain't going. And now the one that did me wrong, they got a new car. They got a new house. What in the world? This thing is behind backwards. I wanted to say something else, but it's behind backwards. It's backwards. How are they achieving these things? How are they doing all this stuff? But yet and still they've left me out there to dry and made up these false accusations against me. They've done all this stuff against me, yet and still here they are seeming like they're reaping the reward of being right. That's a hard press. It will shake your very faith. It will shake the fact that you even trust God or believe him for anything. It make you look at God like, really? Nah. Yes, I said, what is going on? It make you question God. And it's, the Bible says you shouldn't question him. But it makes you question him. Like, what are you doing, God? Why are you allowing this to happen? Why are you allowing me to go through this? Well, the thing is, it's all gonna come out. It always does, and it always will. You will never be left in a situation. God will vindicate you. He will vindicate you without cease or without fail. Yes, people do for no reason. That's right. That is the thing. Let me like that, honey, because that is exactly why they do it. They do it because they don't have the ability to believe God for themselves. And even hi, beautiful. And even though they may be, getting blessed and doing all this stuff, their whole goal to sabotage you is to block you from getting it. And those people are 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10 very insecure. They're very insecure of themselves, and they don't know what they're here for. So they fight your purpose. They fight your destiny because they don't know why they're here. And that sucks because we're all allotted the same information. We all got the same word. And sometimes even people in your own church, they rise up against you, or people at your job. We're all here on one assignment. If you're at your job and your goal at your job is to make your business successful, we should all work together as a unit. A lot of people talk about, I support 100%. I believe in other people. I push other people. But that's you only push people who is convenient for you to push. People that don't even know you, and you can't do it behind the scenes. When it's people that are really genuine, you will never know what they do for other people. A lot of times they do stuff and you will never know what all they do behind the scenes, because their heart is pure and intentional. And that's a sidebar. That's a whole nother something else. But a lot of people do things because they don't have a sense of security in themselves, and they're very immature, and they just don't know what they're here for. So a lot of times they fight you on your purpose, or they feel like you're gonna get to yours before they get to them, just despite the envy and the jealousy of it all. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you guys today, because a lot of times, when we're desperate to get to our destined end, and we have a lot of things that we want to accomplish, a lot of times we have things and people, because things come up because people rise up against you. It ain't just things that just haphazardly happens. People rise up against you because they get full of the devil, and they don't want to see you complete your goals and achieve things. So that's basically what I want to share with you guys. Just stay focused, and keep your faith in God that He's going to work all the logisticals out. He's going to work all the logistics out, because a lot of times, like I said, people don't, or like Mary was saying, people do stuff because they're not focused on their own goals. They don't know what they're here for. They really don't. So do you guys have any questions for me? I know I usually don't go like this. It's usually about relationships, but even in relationships, if you think about it, even this stuff in relationships, there are people that get all caught up in divisive when it comes down to connections and relationships. God can be connecting you with people, divinely connecting you with people, and you're not looking for that connection. You didn't pursue the connection. You didn't go out looking to be close to an individual or close to a person. God just opened up the opportunity for you to do so. And a lot of times God will rise you up in the middle of your enemies, in front of your enemies. He will cause you to rise up and allow people to see you for who He has called you to be, in the character that you have built concerning Him. A lot of people will try to taint your character, And let me get transparent for a minute. There has been a lot of people, and usually I don't talk about personal stuff, because sometimes when you say stuff about personal stuff, people read into it and they be like, oh, well, it must be something because But I'm just going to say this to be honest, because I really believe it's going to help somebody that may be going through this. When people rise up against you and they try to taint your name and put things on you that aren't true, for whatever reasons, you may have a position that they desire to have, or you may have a certain salary that they desire to have, or you may have a certain vehicle, or a certain man, or a certain relationship with your children, whatever it is that people rise up and get jealous and envious about. You may have those things, and people can become very, very just full of the doggone devil, because they don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you happy. And a lot of times, and matter of fact, they don't want to see nobody happy, because when you really investigate this specific person that has been a waltz in your garment, you find out that you're not the only person that experienced those things with that person. they've had several people to experience the same thing with them. So a lot of times we have to be mindful of what's going on around us, and don't try to address every freaking lie. Don't try to address every accusation. Don't try to address it. Don't even worry about it. Because I realized some things I jacked myself up because I would post stuff, somebody would post something stupid and I would turn around and throw off and post back on them, and all that stuff. And I realized, you know what? It's people that's following me that don't know what the heck is going on, and all these other people are following me, and then they like, what is wrong with her? Is she mad about something? I think that she's a great person. So they thinking I'm great and all this stuff, and I'm thinking that the lie that this individual done told on me, that everybody see me that way, and that stuff will confuse you. It will trick you, and it'll have you jacked up. But one thing you have to realize is that you can't lose your cool. Stay cool. Don't lose your cool when them individuals start telling these lies on you and rising up against you and trying to sabotage your character. Don't do it. I had to catch myself about a week ago because I made a statement about somebody that I knew that had been going behind my back, trying to sabotage my business and trying to say things negatively against me. Same person that didn't want me to have a position or didn't want me to do, same individual still running their mouth, and I said, Lord, you know what? Deal with my enemy. You deal with them. I can't deal with them. Because the way I deal with them, I'm going to have a charge. I'm going to be locked up somewhere. I'm going to be, and I got children, and God is allowing me to build a name for myself, and I'm not even trying to do it. God is opening doors for me that I didn't even ask for. And I'm so gracious and thankful that He thought enough of me to change the image that has been painted in my mind, because everybody don't see you the way other people, those people that try to sabotage you, everybody doesn't see you like that. But in your mind, you would think that everybody does because of how many people they have poisoned your name to. So, and I know that's a sidebar, but I had to get transparent with y'all for a minute and be honest about some stuff, because people will do stuff intentionally against your character and against your name, and then they will come off and put it off on God like it's Him. And then you looking at God's tilt like, really? So you can't allow people to do that. And that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else unless you guys have any questions. Anybody? Well, thank you guys for joining. I see a lot of people jumped on. But feel free to like the video and share it, because desperate times really do cause for desperate measures. Whenever you are in a situation, you gotta focus more than you ever have. You have to zero in harder than you've ever zeroed in. You have to make sure that you are crossing your T's and dotting your I's more than you ever have. So just make sure that you are staying focused and you got your faith up, because fiction is coming. The lie is coming. And have your heart prepared for it. As much as you get successful, the more you get successful, the more lies, the more fiction, the more... Look at celebrities. I'm finna go, for real. I just have to say this. Look at celebrities. Lord have mercy, poor Beyonce. And that is my girl. Y'all know I love some B. But you look at her. They couldn't find nothing on Beyonce. So the best they can do, she's a devil worshiper. She's part of the Illuminati. Her baby hair nappy. Really? That's poor Blue Ivy. Really? Y'all gonna just bash the baby hair? Come on. Your husband nose too big. He look old. He this, that, and the other. That Joker is... Please, listen. They will say anything to crush you. Okay? So be prepared for the fiction to come, but you keep your faith up and you keep your focus, and you'll be all right. So that's all I have, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is about relationships, but it's about relationships in a broader scope, meaning like, don't let people get to you, you know. So that's all I have. Talk to you guys later, hopefully Friday.